Hey everyone, so in this video I just wanted to talk a little bit about, from my own perspective as a professional guitar player, what I think the best way to learn guitar is, or just to improve on an instrument in general. So I'm going to try and keep this video with as few edits as possible, but the overarching point that I want to make is, in my opinion, from learning an instrument and from teaching people and also being around a lot of musicians, the best way to learn and the fastest way to learn is to learn pieces and songs you like and not worry about theory so much later on. So if I were to teach you, say you're just starting guitar and I teach you Wonderwall, okay, at the beginning all you think is I've learnt Wonderwall, but really you've learnt the chords to hundreds of songs in one go. Now if I just teach you even the chords to Wonderwall but in a different order, say, and you don't recognise it as Wonderwall, it's probably quite likely to leave your head. But if you're learning a song and a piece that you like, you're going to want to play it and you're going to practice and things like that. So that brings me on to another point, which is practice in general. And when I was learning the guitar, I'm terrible for, I can't sit down and practice for an hour. I've never really been able to do that. I don't know how it would have affected my playing if I'd done that, but what I tended to do was, I would honestly, say I was learning, back at the start, alternate picking, so picking up and down. I originally learnt that on a song by a band called Avenged Sevenfold. I started off on electric guitar, so I was playing a lot of like metal and rock music. So when I was learning that, I would literally just go like that for maybe a few times round, and then I wouldn't necessarily say I lost interest at that point, but I would, if I was sort of forced to practice, then even if it was just myself forcing myself to practice, then I would find it wouldn't be enjoyable for me anymore. So you obviously, I think a lot of people when they're younger are put into sort of the classic ones, piano lessons by their parents and stuff, and you do get people that become very, very good from being forced to play. But in my opinion, from my own perspective, in the professional realm that I'm in Scotland, the majority of people who have got to the level of being a professional player, they might have been forced to start right back at the start, but to be forced to practice the whole way through till, you know, later high school, secondary school, most people who are playing professionally weren't forced to do that. They, at some point, they were practicing because they enjoyed it, and it's from their own volition, you know. So I think don't be put off if people say, oh, you need to be practicing an hour a day or things like that. You don't. You definitely don't. I never did that. And there really is no set way of doing this. You just need to, the biggest thing is you need to make sure that you are enjoying learning. And you can obviously have things that frustrate you when you're learning. And I'm trying to think, there have been many times where I was learning things and I couldn't do it straight away, and you just have to keep doing it over and over. But I tended to do it in little increments instead of sitting down for an hour and going, I'm going to get this. Because I think if I've ever tried to sit down and practice something in depth like that, I've tended to, you know, I've not grasped it by the end of, say, the 20 minutes practice. But if I do it in little increments of, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes, a few days later, you find that you have improved at whatever technique you're trying to get. So that would be my second point. But I think the point of when theory comes into it, where you need to learn theory, is where you're kind of already at a point where you maybe don't know it, but you've actually got quite a broad theory knowledge. So if you're learning, you know, if you learn enough songs, you're going to learn all your basic chords down here, and then every so often you're going to find a song that's got a chord up here or whatever, and then you're going to learn a song that takes you from strumming like this. Maybe you get into Celtic music, which I'm teaching a lot on the channel, and you start strumming like this, you learn a pattern like this. So that brings me into maybe another point, which is, when you get a bit further on, then you can learn techniques in isolation and you can apply them to chords you already know. So obviously on the channel, I'm teaching a lot of strumming patterns without context, but some of these strumming patterns, without context in terms of you're not learning a song as you're doing it. So there's a place for this when you've already got a chordal knowledge, or to be honest, you can maybe watch a video that I've put up playing and you can sort of recognize some of the chords and you just want to get the rhythm down. Then it's totally fine to learn the theory, and that's something I've done myself. But I didn't sit down and learn a scale for years until years after beginning to play the guitar. So I think, yeah, the overarching point is you have to make it enjoyable for yourself or you won't do it. And if you're someone younger watching this video just now, if you're a teenager or I'd say below 20, and you're thinking, maybe if you don't say it out loud, that you want to play the guitar for a living, don't let people tell you that you need to sit down and practice for an hour and you need to be doing this regimented practice regime, because you don't. You definitely don't. It's not really. I just don't. I'm trying to think of people that I've come across that have actually done that. It tends to be more piano players, because I think they tend to come more from a classical background. But for guitarists, I think most of us who start learning the guitar are normally into either rock, pop, your Celtic music, where it's not as strict, and I would take advantage of that, because a lot of genres are really strict on the way that you need to play. But I play professionally in the Celtic sort of world of music, and the thing that drew me to it was there is no set way that you need to play it, and it's every time you would accompany someone playing a different piece, you can change it up if you want, whereas they can obviously do variations to a tune or whatever, but you're completely free to make it to make the song or the tune sound any way you want. So to summarize, just make sure that you are learning things that you want to learn, and the theory will come along with that. You can't learn something without picking up the theory behind that piece, if that makes sense. So don't let anyone tell you need to sit with a book of scales and work your way through it, unless that's something that you want to do, or you're running into some situation with your learning where you feel like it would be beneficial to you to do that. So thank you for watching this video. If you'd like me to do more videos like this where I'm just talking about guitar playing in general, let me know in the comments below. But if you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.